Well, here's something you don't see every day. A Liberal Prime Minister of Canada getting a standing ovation at a Calgary Chamber of Commerce event. Mark Carney himself seemed a little taken aback by the enthusiasm. He joked the last time he was at a chamber event, there were 20 people around the table. Today, about 1,000 business leaders turned out to hear him speak. Hello and thank you for joining us. Mark Carney addressed that chamber luncheon on the heels of signing a brand new energy agreement with Danielle Smith. The memorandum of understanding lays out the conditions for a new oil pipeline. We have team coverage tonight. Jacqueline Wilson is getting reaction from the business community, the energy sector and environmentalists. Alicia Philberg is getting political reaction. BC's premier and some in Mark Carney's own cabinet are not happy. But we start with Tim Brooke, who has the nuts and bolts of the agreement. And Tim, it lays out precisely what is necessary for a pipeline to the Pacific to proceed.
Yes, Tara, as you mentioned there, the agreement should pave the way for Alberta to move more bitumen, not only to the coast, but to some in-demand markets overseas, specifically in Asia. But it's worth noting here, this is just the first step in what's sure to be an extremely long journey.
Pen finally to paper. A long-rumored memorandum of understanding was officially signed Thursday. Most notably, it'll open the door to a new crude pipeline from northern Alberta to the Pacific.
Today is a great day for the people of Alberta and for all of Canada.
The idea is to eventually move at least 1 million additional barrels of oil a day. The line will need Indigenous co-ownership and approval, and will have to include economic benefits for BC.
We look at this as the start of a process. We've created some of the necessary conditions for this to happen, but there's a lot more work to do.
Timelines are still murky. Alberta will submit its official pipeline application and route by July 1st. If that's approved, the fastest best-case scenario could see shovels in the ground by 2029 and oil flowing by the mid to late 2030s. It'll all need to be driven by a private proponent. No federal or provincial taxpayer money will be involved.
If there's not a private sector proponent, there won't be a pipeline.
I'm pretty confident with the people we have at the table that one or a consortium of them, once we establish that it is on the major projects list, will be willing to take this on.
And there are other terms. Alberta must construct thousands of megawatts of AI computing power and increase its industrial carbon price. In theory, that should help drastically lower oil patch methane emissions to a new target of 75%. There's also a promise to construct and finance the Pathways Alliance carbon capture project.
We are going to get to our greenhouse gas objectives, our climate objectives, by only through massive investment. And so we need agreements like this in order to drive that massive investment.
Ottawa has also agreed to suspend its proposed emissions cap and Alberta's clean electricity requirement. A big win ahead of a big task for the Danielle Smith government.
This is Alberta's moment of opportunity. Our opportunity to show the nation, as well as the entire world, that resource development and emissions reduction can not only coexist, but can actually complement one another.
Now, the Premier said today that the PM has agreed to address 7 of her 9 so-called bad laws. I know a lot of viewers out there will want to know what will be made of the tanker ban. Well, we can tell you tonight that federal government officials have said adjustments will be made to that ban should a pipeline be approved and then eventually built. We don't have specifics of what that might look like, but I can tell you that a lot of people in the province are thrilled about that, and they feel like any carve-out will be sufficient. Tara?
Okay, Tim, thank you for that. Jacqueline Wilson joins us now. Jackie, we saw Calgary's Chamber host the Prime Minister today. So how is the overall business community reacting?
Yes, Tara. So I was at that Chamber meeting today, and, the Prime Minister quite surprised and happy with that applause, a standing ovation that we saw and received. And he probably was a little surprised because it's something that his predecessor, Justin Trudeau, would have never received from Calgary's energy community. Outside of the Chamber of Commerce luncheon today, Premier Smith saying that this was really a big win for our province.
Thank you.
A warm welcome for Prime Minister Mark Carney on Thursday in front of a packed crowd of energy executives and Chamber of Commerce members.
This morning's announcement heralds truly
a new era in the relationship between Alberta and Ottawa.
The Memorandum of Understanding is also being celebrated by the Canadian Association of Petroleum Producers.
The elimination of the emissions cap, changes to the greenwashing legislation, and the commitment to expand our access to global markets can be the catalyst to unlock Canada's full economic potential, to invite new investment into major projects, and to enable our country to take our rightful place as the world's next energy superpower.
While the announcement was being celebrated in downtown Calgary, some environmental advocates are shocked the Prime Minister signed this deal.
This is taking us completely in the wrong way economically and environmentally. This is actually much worse than I expected. It's not only about a new pipeline, it's also about delaying the methane regulations. It's about exempting Alberta from the clean electricity regulations.
No private company has publicly come forward to build this project, though 3 have been consulting with the province. And one former energy executive raises a good question, even if one proponent eventually materializes.
The question is, who pays for it? Is there any economic value in this, or is it just something that puts Canada at a competitive disadvantage? And I think that's really going to be very hard bargaining.
Jacqueline Wilson, CTV News, Calgary.
Now, following today's pipeline deal, Mark Carney lost a cabinet minister. Stephen Guilbeault says he is resigning because of this agreement. Trudeau's former environment minister does plan to stay on as MP. Alicia Fieldberg joins us now. Alicia, political leaders from various levels of government across the country are weighing in.
Well, Terry, you mentioned Stephen Guilbeault walked from cabinet. Some of the key political parties required for this proposed pipeline to become a reality are staunchly opposed, and it's not the only hurdle for it to become a reality. Still, some say that this memorandum does offer opportunities as well.
The path is open for Alberta's government to pursue a pipeline to deliver crude to British Columbia's coast for Asian markets. But many hurdles lie ahead. For starters, the proposed Alberta-BC project only has support from one of those provinces.
Had BC been at the table, the agreement wouldn't have omitted basic things like, are we going to do anything about spill response? Or we would have canvassed potential win-win scenarios.
Coastal Indigenous groups along the proposed path say the risk of oil spills outweighs any financial benefit for them.
We are not interested in being equity partners in a project that has the potential to destroy everything that we have built.
Then there's the challenge of finding private sector investment.
With oil under $60 a barrel, that's a harder case to make right now.
Federal opponents are opposed in different ways. The Conservatives think the memorandum isn't strong enough, and the Liberals should just approve a permit for a pipeline to the West Coast.
Isn't it true that this isn't a pipeline? It's a pipe dream.
The Bloc worries this opens the gate for similar projects discussed by the federal government and only some of the parties involved.
It's the federal government making a deal in order to backstab a province and its jurisdiction and its desire and what they want and what they do not want, because Ottawa has decided with Edmonton and Calgary that this is how things are going to happen.
Despite all this, political watchers say the memorandum opens conversations.
Maybe another route, maybe a further expansion of TMX, maybe building this pipeline. I think there are possibilities in this current economic and political climate.
Alicia Fieldberg, CTV News, Calgary.